So it's what, like 8:30? I have about a half an hour. I need to make a phone call. But I just wanted to kind of give you some insight to in a little more depth about me. Um, I've only had about 4.5 hours of sleep. My medical issues have woken me up and made it so that I can't go back to sleep. Often they make it so that I can't even go to sleep on time, I guess on a reasonable time schedule, consistently. My life is full of a lot of fear and challenges that I don't know exactly how to process. So I get up on stream here and I kind of just verbally diarrhea all over everybody with what's going on in my life. And I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking for when I do all this. I feel like if people are able to pull information out of what I go through to help themselves, that's a win. Um, I'm finding that interacting with people on stream and stuff is causing a really weird paradox within me because it's like I want to be around people, but I don't want to be around people. I struggle with social anxiety. It seems like it's getting worse the older I get. I think it's just probably primarily that I don't know how to interact with people anymore, and then because I'm so sick all the time, I don't have a lot to give to anybody. I really want to be more well-rounded and well-adjusted. But I get the feeling that what I want in life anymore doesn't really matter to what's going on in the universe. Not to say that it doesn't matter to me, but for the universe, it doesn't matter, right? Like, I'm insignificant in the grand scheme of things. In fact, I'm so insignificant that my presence in this life is only important to the people around me, which I would imagine is probably semi true for most people, but it just feels overwhelmingly true to me because my illnesses they take so much from me and they don't give a lot in return, it feels like. um I guess what I do notice is that when things are better, I'm more grateful than I've ever been that things are better and that I mean, when I say better, not 100% better, but just not as poor and terrible as they were. I It's like I want to be here streaming for some reason. Like it feels like it's something I need to do, but it feels like it's more for me instead of you. But I can't seem to get out of it what I want without you being there. Um, it's a really weird thing, but then when I interact with people, it seems to create more feelings of anxiety and stress in my life than when I don't. But I think to myself, well, how can I grow as a human being if I don't challenge my boundaries? The problem is I don't always have the resilience to keep challenging my boundaries. Sometimes I don't have the energy. Sometimes I don't have the emotional fortitude. And it's like, I do know that when I talk to you about what's going on in my life and share my feelings openly, excuse me, it gives me an opportunity to work through them to a degree. Like I can verbally work through them, and in that way, you help me without even saying anything to me. Sometimes I don't feel as alone when I'm on stream. Sometimes what you do by just being there gives me meaning to things that feel meaningless in my life. As an example, playing video games. I've used video games almost all my life as a coping mechanism or a way of distracting myself from the challenges that have presented themselves in my existence. Up in, I would say, probably about 10 years ago, I've gaming has provided very little joy. I mean, now that's not to say that I haven't had moments of intense joy playing games. I just, with being sick now and being so limited and so small, I don't pleasure and joy and things like that from pretty much anything, and interest and desire have faded quite dramatically in my life. And for some reason, being here with you helps provide meaning to my life in the gaming community and in general, but more so when I play video games. But I may not be able to give you what you need or want from me as a streamer. I may not have the ability to create space in my life for you. As an example, if you talk to me, I may not be able to give you what you want. Or if you want to do something with me or hang out with me like a normal streamer would, I may not be able to do that based on everything that's happening in my life. But just so you know that just by you being here, or even the idea of you being here, is beneficial to me. But sometimes interacting with you makes my life harder, and sometimes immeasurably harder. I found this to be true the last time I used to stream. I kind of forgot about it. I feel like, to a degree, when you stream, you try to perform and you try to, and I say perform in the sense that you feel like you have to be or do something for other people rather than just be who you are. And then it, to a degree, it puts you on this treadmill emotionally and physically to a degree because you have to, because I feel the need to do things about my emotions and how I feel as a streamer. And that burden often is too much for me to carry. Like, would I like to be a big ass streamer? I don't know. I mean, it sounds like it would be neat to have a community where people are just having a good time together, but like I said, I've spent most of my life alone. So I don't know how to interact in that environment. I feel very uneasy and my life becomes extremely difficult. Um, so I've often just avoided it and not tried to have relationships because they felt like they were too challenging for me to navigate, because I can't properly, in my mind, work through the challenges of interacting with other people in a way that doesn't drain me. I've developed a lot of, I would say, um, mental and emotional limitations by being alone so long. I don't know that I have the strength right now to grow in my social capabilities right now. And I'm fighting my urges, you know what I mean? Because it's like I don't know exactly how to express what's on my mind. I mean, it was nice hanging out with Easy yesterday. It was enjoyable, but it was too much for me, and I didn't realize it until after it was over. Often, um, I don't understand what happens. I don't even understand what I go through sometimes until my subconscious and my mind have an opportunity to work on it when I'm not thinking about it, or maybe I do think about it, and that's the problem is that it becomes a place in my life where I don't say I wouldn't say ruminate, but I think about often. And when I think about things like that, it takes energy. Sometimes it's a good thing because it gets me away from constantly being in the cyclical circle of me thinking about my illnesses and how do I help myself, and then coming to the realization that I don't have any control over my life, that I can't help myself. And they give me these medications from the doctors and they scare me because if you look at any of the side effects, they're just horrible. And then but I'll turn around and I'll take stupid amounts of supplements to try and help myself because they're natural. So I get on this treadmill of, well, I take these supplements to try and help myself, but I'm starting to realize that I'm also hurting myself because the supplements seem to generate within me side effects that I'm not always aware of. This whole process of being alive is scaring me because I don't have the emotional security of my safety, and I don't have the ability to bring safety into my life, so I have to accept at some point I'm going to die, and it may be soon, and I don't know that, which I would imagine is true for anybody, but it just feels like it's constantly thrown in my face, and I'm made to deal with it on a regular basis, sometimes all day long. And mainly, that's my life, and I desperately don't want it to be that way. I don't want this to be my life. I don't want to be limited. I don't want to be contained. And it generates a lot of anger. And I spend a lot of time trying to work through my anger and try to just be accepting of what I'm given. I'm frustrated that I didn't have a better opportunity growing up. I'm extremely despondent that I can't seem to bring my life into focus now. And it's incredibly emotionally demoralizing. I've been diagnosed with major depressive disorder, with general anxiety disorder, or whatever. And I'm sure there's others. You know what I mean? Those are just the coin terms. You know what I mean? That my last psychologist that I talked to pegged me on. Like right now, I'm severely dizzy. I feel nauseous. I feel like I want to throw up. I just had breakfast. I woke up with the acid in my throat and just tearing my face apart in my throat. But also the acid reflux makes me feel nauseous and dizzy and disorientated, and like I hate being dizzy. I hate it for a passion. Like if there was one feeling I didn't have to feel anymore, it's just being dizzy. But it's something I go through regularly. I get intense anger towards God, and so much so I wish that he didn't exist. Because how can you let something that you profess to care about suffer the way that I've suffered? And then subsequently, so many others in humanity that have suffered. And then you add Christianic religion on top of that, or you add other things that complicate life, and it's too much for me. Often you're told God won't give you more than you can handle, but I think that's a load of crap. I think that's just something we try to tell ourselves to just have a little bit of fortitude in the face of so many things that we don't have control over. Part of all of this is I get scared that I won't be around very much longer. And I'm trying to create a chronological log or vlog for my family to remember me by when they feel the need to be close to me, but they can't be. I remember when my uncle passed, I needed to be near him because I missed him so terribly. I found some audio files of when we were talking on voice chat, and it felt good to feel like I was near him. He was my best friend, and I didn't even know it. And when he passed, it's like you take certain things for granted. And because it's hard to perceive a moment when you're not there, or when somebody else is not there, or when I'm not there, more so like it's hard for me to perceive that one day I won't be here. And I have wisdom to share, and it feels like I've never been given an opportunity to really share it and for somebody to use it. It just seems like such a waste to have gone through everything I've gone through, all the suffering that I have experienced, and for no one to get anything out of it. It just seems, what is the point? It saddens me because I want it to be useful. I want to be useful, and I feel like often I can't be. And what am I honestly left with? Watching TV or something? So I push myself to sit here to do things that hurt me because I want my family to have something to remember me by, so that they can kind of, I don't know, maybe learn more about me after I'm gone. I'm not here. Like I used to have a lot of feelings of what I wanted out of life, and I was able to brute force them into my life. But my life has never come easy. Just by a sheer force of banging my head against the wall long enough has anything broken in front of me and allowed me to go forward. I wasn't given the best opportunities growing up, and I've been a prisoner of my own mental. Yeah, I've been a prisoner of my own mental, and now I'm a prisoner of my own body. My body often feels like a torture device, and it's unrelenting and relentless. And when, I understand why people believe in God and why they want to believe in God and believe that there's a creator out there that is lovingly there for them and that has a plan for their existence, even though we may not be able to see it. Excuse me, but humanity's best ways to describe God have failed to meet what I feel like God is, if God exists. Maybe God is just what allows everything to be without any interaction from us or from it. Maybe like I was telling you yesterday, it's God is the filament that allows mass to exist, good, bad, or indifferent. Science thinking it's found the God particle, you know. Um, I hope to a degree that God exists because him and I need to have a talk, and I don't think he's going to like what I have to say. But that's the risk you take when you create something with free will, I suppose. But I would imagine God doesn't really care what I think, because if he did, or it did, things wouldn't be the way they are now. But then I think, well, if God is just another being that's greater than me, as I am greater than other things, supposedly, like, I think the general consensus is that we feel more important than ants. At times, we may feel more important than even what we'd consider lower life forms like animals. It is pretty relatively self-evident, you know what I mean, to that degree, when we genocide specific, creatures like cows or things like that, deer, for food, buffalo. But that's the cycle of life, though. That's just how life is. The fact that we're a part of it, I don't know that we should have any shame for it or feel bad about it. At least that animal's life was given to help give life to us. But it's the way that we go about it that's disturbing to me. I'm talking about cattle farms and, just the way that they're treated while they're alive. Instead of treating them with reverence, we treat them as if they are a byproduct of our will. And humans, from what I can tell, aren't very compassionate in some ways. I hope one day we find a natural equilibrium with the things around us, the world around us, so that we're not so angry and hurt all the time. I do hope that we manage to improve upon what humanity is. I think genetic manipulation of humanity is probably necessary for our survival, simply from a health standpoint. Because if I lived in a time where genetic manipulation was possible, my son may not have died in my arms when I was younger. My current son may not have his medical disabilities that limit his life and subsequently my life, not because of him, but because I also have medical issues. If we could strengthen the immune system, strengthen the body's ability to regenerate, those are wonderful goals to approach and try to bring into our lives. My only fear is that humanity has proven, in a lot of ways, to be irresponsible. We make broad sweeping decisions without being able to fully understand the consequences of our actions. I think mainly because we don't have the ability to see everything from all angles, and then empathize and see things from the other point of view. I know that I get singularly minded in a lot of ways. And as much as I try not to be, my emotions dictate a lot of how I feel and how I move forward through my life. They say that you can use meditation to help quiet the mind, but when the body is struggling as much as mine is, and subsequently other people's bodies, how do you manage to relax around that pain? Especially when your body is telling you to help me. So often do we ignore what our body tells us. Intuitionally, we don't seem to do a good enough job, in my opinion, of fostering a good start for children, and subsequently they grow up into in a way that is damaging to them. And then we wonder why people are shooting each other in the streets. Our selfishness and our greed and our inability to be there and see things from other people's point of views are the things that are damaging us the most. We are all we have on this planet. Why are we killing each other for resources when all we have to do is share, and everybody will have more than enough? We have enough food to feed the planet many times over, but people are dying of starvation. Why? Because of greed and selfishness. I am so disappointed in humanity that I can't barely contain it. And it disgusts me. And I think humanity has a lot to learn. It's just, I don't know that we're going to be capable of it. I hope that we grow and move on, but I don't know that we will. It feels to me like we've missed something important in that area, and it may be our downfall. And simply just because we can't get along, that it's over for humanity. It feels like it's too late in my perspective. And it's just, we're already a race, an extinct race. We just don't know it yet. But hopefully that's not true. Hopefully. Hopefully we learn and grow and change. Sometimes I think that we won't get there until we develop the ability to be empathic, be able to know intimately how our actions impact other people, right? Because if I could feel what you feel when I do something in your presence, I won't know. You know what I mean? Like it's like sort of like the empaths on Star Trek. Um, it's just about time for my phone call, and so I have to get going. But just food for thought. Just food for thought. Um, I may end up streaming after the phone call. I don't know. Probably. I don't know. I push myself to do this stuff even though it hurts me because I think on an emotional and psychological level it helps me. So we'll see how it goes. But I really hope everyone has a wonderful day, regardless. I hope that you find some peace in your life and some joy. And hopefully, by seeing what my life has become, it helps you to navigate your life so that you don't become me.